The first, of course, is my health condition, which I disclosed to the people on the 27th of June 2016. I want to say today that I'm recovering well. And once again, I want to thank everyone, especially the people of this country, from across the political, religious, and tribal divide for standing by my side at this great moment. Indeed, we are all mortal beings, and sometimes our bodies get shaken by the vagaries of nature. But as you can see, God is always on our side, and I'm on the path to full recovery. The second issue is, of course, the acute deterioration of the economic situation that is fast accelerating towards a full-fledged implosion. The nation is hurting, and life is tough for everyone outside the parasitic elite that is feeding on the national trough. It is this elite that is fueling the cancer of corruption and is oblivious to the dire situation facing ordinary people in Umula, Plumtree, Farkos, Lotito, and Chirun. Oh yes, corruption, misgovernance, and just plain cluelessness at the national level have become a more dangerous cancer, even more dangerous than the cancer that I'm experiencing. The MDC National Executive and Council met for 9 hours yesterday to discuss the worsening situation in the country and to chart a way forward that will create a better life for the people of this country. The party welcomes the emerging national consensus, where other civic groups and ordinary citizens are now joining us on demonstrations and protests as a legitimate and constitutional avenue of public expression. We have a Congress resolution that as a party we shall embark upon and support every group and sector that will go into the streets to legitimately express its concerns and petition this government to address its genuine grievances. It is a matter of public record that on the 14th of April, our structures in Harare embarked on a peaceful demonstration against this government, which was followed by similar successful protest marches in Mtare, Bulawayo, and others yet to be organized. As I've said, we are happy that others have taken this route as a legitimate expression of national displeasure at how the country is being mismanaged. It is this context I want to laud and congratulate Pastor Mawarire and other Tajamuka pressure groups and other ordinary citizens of this country and elsewhere who continue to send a loud message to this regime that the nation is now fed up. Our colleagues in the struggle need to be lauded and commended for the courage, conviction, and the commitment to this positive effort. Indeed, we are heartily welcome them to the struggle, which I assure you will never be a crowded area or a crowded arena. At our meetings yesterday, the MDC executive organs welcomed the national convergence that is emerging in our troubled land, where all players are now agreed that the way forward is to put pressure on this illegitimate regime. We have indeed become a big tent, patriotic Zimbabweans singing the same chorus from different social stations. That should definitely be commended. The party's National Council was unequivocal in its resolution yesterday that President Mugabe and his government must step down and face popular protests as they fail to find lasting solutions to the problems facing the people. To this end, the party resolved yesterday to continue its provincial protest marches while coordinating and preparing for a robust and a comprehensive national action on a date yet to be announced. In that national action, we will be rallying the nation and all democratic forces to converge on the national demand that President Mugabe and his government definitely have to give way to the national sentiment. While our provincial demonstrations will continue, the logistics and mechanics for the national action are currently being worked out. After our deliberations on the national crisis yesterday, the National Council resolved that there has to be a political settlement that inspires confidence nationally, regionally, and internationally. To this end, the National Council, the party's supreme-making body in between Congress, resolved that the way forward is a multi-partisan national transitional authority. Once bitten, twice shy. It is our firm belief that the NTA must not be sculptured as an inclusive government we established 7 years ago. The NTA must, by statute, separate and operate parallel to the National Executive Authority of Government, but with a specific mandate. The current regime should be left to deal with its own mess, but we should not make our hands dirty in this area. The NTA will have a very limited tenure and specific mandate to, among other things, 1, to supervise the implementation of the Constitution, including alignment of laws to the same. 2, to oversee and monitor the work of commissions, such as the Human Rights Commission, the National Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Reconciliation Commission. 3, to oversee the political reform agenda, some reforms of which are now enshrined in the new Constitution, as well as being involved in the preparation for a credible election. Number 4, to oversee and monitor food aid and distribution. Number 5, to develop a shared national vision and the economic reconstruction program. Our country needs its own Marshall Plan. Otherwise, we are dead in the water. The broad mandate of the NTA will be to steer the country on a path towards return to legitimacy through truly free and fair and credible elections whose outcome is not disputed. Details of the transitional mechanism, including the composition, stature, form, and relationship to the state, executive establishment processes, signposts, roadmap to elections, will be negotiated with other stakeholders who I will engage soon on these proposals. What is important now is the consideration of the principle of an authority in between so that we can create this transition as a starting point for the country's return to legitimate economic and political recovery. The country is at a precipice, and what is now required is leadership. But it is apparent that there is a leadership vacuum at a national level. As the MDC, we are tabling this as an important starting point to the nation that we all love. I'm giving President Mugabe an opportunity to soft land this national crisis. He will have only himself to blame if citizens take matters in their own hands without guidance and in a spontaneous way. The ball is in his court. I urge SADC and AU to provide wise counsel to him. The ball is now definitely in his court. Yesterday's National Council directed that I appoint a vice president as part of the alignment of the party's constitution to the national one. I'll be making an announcement on this. I've been considering very seriously about the burden that has been placed on me regarding this new development. It is indeed a very serious discussion which was undertaken, and it is a perpetuation of our Congress discussion. Lastly, as a party, we are heartened by the convergence on action as a legitimate and constitutional pressure point to this regime. We in the MDC have seen this coming. On the 18th of August, I wrote first of my 2 letters to SADC heads of state, in which I warned the region that the citizens of this country would soon be taking matters in their own hands in bringing this regime to account. The recent legitimate process by Zimbabweans, therefore, vindicate my communication to the region. However, beyond protests and demonstrations, there is need for leadership and sculpting of a coherent, durable plan which we hereby lay on the table as a party to the nation. We have no other country except Zimbabwe. We urge all Zimbabweans to rally together in demanding a better deal for us as citizens. Instead of appointing 1, I'm going to appoint 2 to assist me and the Vice President in charting this party towards the 2018 election. I have considered a number of factors: maturity, seniority, demographic considerations. We must not forget that we have a young generation that is now emerging, that is demanding that we do something about that. So in that regard, I am going to propose that Elias Mzuri will be one of the vice presidents. Nelson Chamisa will be one of the vice presidents. So in that regard, it puts closure to this and ensure that we now have a work to do and to mobilize all the people and to ensure that we have this task to discharge. Thank you very much.